I won't know about a lot of Nepali cricket, right? I'll know only about the national teams. I was just speaking to Paras regarding some talent search once we are done with the qualifiers, because right now the first priority is Singapore, where we are playing the qualifiers from the Asia region. Once we come back, then we need to start looking out for really good talents. For last few years there hadn't been much of cricket with Nepal, so some of them must not have got those opportunities. So what we need to do is we need to go to those places, arrange like a 2 or 3 day camps, and really figure out if we can look for some young or new talents. We need to get some more competitive cricket. That planning is missing. Like we are going for qualifiers and we were playing Prime Minister Cup, which is 50 overs. So suddenly the format, we are going for T20 qualifiers in Asia, and then you guys are playing 50 over format. So it doesn't help the team, right? It's too early, to get into the weaknesses and strength. We are going into the tournament. I'm more keen on getting the boys to look into how we get better prepared once we reach Singapore. After Singapore, we'll be, if we do well, obviously we qualify, then we'll be looking to global qualifiers. So right now I'm more keen on working on the national team than worrying about too much of weaknesses and strength. We don't look at the weak part. We just say that it's a development. Even if you look at all the international cricketers, they keep developing those new skills as they keep growing. Once you start playing for the team, you get in the first 11, then you want to be the best player in the team, and then you want to be the best player in the world. So Nepali cricketers need to have the same mentality, and they need to start developing. Once they reach the national team, they need to make sure they become the match winner for the team, and once they become the match winner, then they start competing to be the best player in the world. So I think that is a development which is supposed to keep happening, which is not happening with most of the teams, I think. I think it's the skill level. It's very, very skillful. I know they have the skill to really rotate the strike and running between the wickets. Those are the beautiful skills they have. Afghanistan and Nepal cricket, because they both are completely different. So there is no comparison as in batsman, as in circle, because the format of their cricket is completely different. The skills and development is completely different, region wise, even the physical abilities wise, it's completely different. They play a lot of fearless cricket. And they are all big hitters. So what we need to understand is they both will have their plus and minuses, and we need to make sure we keep improving on the pluses and keep reducing the minuses. See, I can't think about what's happening with the Nepal Cricket Association. What I can see is what I can get to the team, what are the things I can work on. Instead of worrying about what's not there, I will be more keen on getting things which can be done. If you have good kids, the players, which are more important, and they are amazing, so they are more happy to learn. The only hurdle would be the playing facility, like the ground, and even some of them the kit, and ICC has been very helpful in funding those things. So you shouldn't be, I'm not worried about the other part. I'll be more worried about how we can develop in the coming 1 year. Help from a lot of local guys, help from the senior players, and because I've been here almost for a year now, I've been to PPL, I've been to EPL, so I've seen most of the players. Back home also I was watching the Prime Minister Cup, because luckily we have it on some of the links. So it's much easier now because you're there in the system for 1 year now, so you almost knows what are the plus and minuses, you know which are the cricketers you need to look for, and you know what are the development you need to do. So it's easier now actually, because you're there in the setup for almost a year. You need to find out new talented players and then you give them a setup. It takes around a year for the people to understand the setup, how they become international cricketers, the routines, the training patterns, the thinking pattern. It takes almost a year to develop. So once we give them those patterns, you will find a result coming in a year's time. Maybe by the time I leave after a year, you will find a lot of good cricketers. First thing, there are no weak teams, because if you look at what happened with us in the Under-19 World Cup, we don't go with that mentality where there's a weak team. We see that what are the things we can learn from those tournaments, because it's one game and your whole thing will be jeopardized. So we don't take anything for granted. We plan much better, because when you think the teams are weak, you can take things for granted, and we make sure that the players don't think that way.